Have they invited him? Just before we came on air, Abulu was raising the issue of Femi Fani-Kayode that said Atiku Abubakar was meeting with service chiefs and something like that. And has it been invited?
Amici, good morning.
Or are they planning to invite when the army would indeed disclaim such things?
Good morning, dear listener. Atiku, according to Femi Fani-Kayode, was meeting with former army generals.
Okay,
seven of them. And some of us will not see anything wrong if a presidential candidate is meeting former military officers. Every political party has former military officers or generals in their camp. So if he is meeting these ones, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because a former chief of air staff is the governorship candidate in Bauchi State, don't forget. Former chief of army staff, Buratai, he raised the flag, hand of the Taraba State governorship candidate in APC. So you have former generals belonging to parties. So if the presidential candidate thinks he wants to design or fashion out his security architecture by meeting former generals, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Amici, on the violence in the attack on political parties, candidates and their supporters, I think is awful. We call for probe on the attack on supposedly Labour Party supporters in Lagos. We call for probe on attack on the Atiku campaign in Kaduna and in Maiduguri the other time. We call for probe on attack on Oshomole in Edo State, and several other attacks on political party stalwarts and their supporters. But you have rightly said it with Femi Fani-Kayode's comment. We have said several here. Teve will keep telling the politicians, be guarded your comments, because they can be insightful. They can go out there and cause destruction. And also, Amechi, I also need to talk to the supporters. Musa Kwankwaso said something the other time on air, I think yesterday, during the Nigeria election debate group on AIT. He said supporters need to be careful. During the 2015 election, there are some die-hard supporters of Buhari then, and they never want to hear anything. They believe that Buhari must win that election, and if Buhari didn't win, head will let loose. So supporters need to also be careful. I heard somebody making a comment on radio just when I was coming, Amici, and a Labour Party supporter saying that the 2 billion alleged 2 billion naira they said Peter Obi gave to the church to mobilize for him, that why is he on air? Why are we discussing? I said, no, my brother. The issue of Tinubu dealings with drug was discussed. The issue of Atiku leaked tape, Atiku Gate, is being discussed. So this one is not out of place. If you know your candidates...
Adebanjo also made several statements saying if Peter Obi does not win, then Nigeria may suffer for it. A lot of people are saying it is something that is beyond the ordinary, that is somehow insightful, that such statements cannot always be encouraged. And even the elders, we have to guide them when they misfire. Going into this election, all transits must be guarded. And the danger for me is that, Teve, whenever we see such and we ignore it, whenever political violence is perpetrated or there are threats of political violence, we ignore it. What you're doing is that you're encouraging a bigger version to come. If the security agencies don't have the courage, they should call a summit where Nigerians will tell them how to put their feet down and do their work. I recall when the Oba of Lagos spoke, threatening to drive some people into a lagoon if they don't vote for a particular candidate. We allow these things to pass, and we think we are doing ourselves a favor. We are doing ourselves a disfavor.
Amechi, good morning to you. Good morning, listener. When issues like this are discussed, you ask yourself about the place of the peace accord that the political parties, presidential, and if you're interested to know that at the state level, I know a number of states that peace accord has been signed by the governorship candidates and their parties, and all of that moving forward. So it appears that that is just a mere ceremony, though we saw how influential the impact it had in 2015. And I recall that we've also discussed this here, and we said it took one man to make that call, and we're only hoping and praying that we'll still have that one man or that one woman who will, eventually do the needful. If you look at the statement by Sarah, they mentioned about 3 states, Lagos, Rivers, and Kaduna states, and they said there were over 4,000 cases of violent attacks, resulting in about 11,000 fatalities, since from January 1, 2022 to February 3, 2023. This is just an idea of what is going on. And if you look at this, also, it is not peculiar to a particular political party, and I think we have to be very cautious about that. It's not peculiar to a particular political party. In Rivers State, for instance, I know that almost all the opposition parties...
The biggest victim in Rivers has been APC.
Even SDP, SDP will tell you that almost in every local government they go to the attack, and all of that. And, the political parties have come, I think at some point they came together to say, look, accusing, the ruling party in Rivers State. In Zamfara State, the governor is saying some persons should come out and deny this and that. In Yobe, the governor went to campaign. What happened? They had to, whisk him away.
But they are denying that, TV.
So these are some of the issues moving forward. But I think something needs to be done. In the case of Femi Fani-Kayode, for instance, this morning he's saying he's gotten an invitation, a supposed invitation from the DSS, that he received an SMS. He's not sure whether it's from there. I don't know whether that's the way DSS invites people, but he says he will present
SMS.
Yes, but he said he will present. He said he will present himself, and all of that. This also points to what most of us have, spoken about over time. That the police need, because it will also observe that it's not in all states. There are some states that are relatively calm, relatively peaceful. Though you can't take this away from campaigns, and all of. But there are some flashpoints. There are some flashpoints. We all know where these places are, and we believe that the police, the DSS, and other security agencies by now should have, have their security map of this flashpoint. I remember
there are several security heat maps. They do have them. The IG, to be fair to him, has also spoken up, accusing the governors. But at the end of it all, what have we done to them? That's the issue. They may be constrained. That's why I'm saying we need to help them. We need to help them, imbibe them with courage where they lack it. If they need intelligence, we need to supply it.
The intelligence, I'm not sure is lacking. There are videos everywhere. Even before you go,
so it's an issue of will, lack of will.
Before you go on the rally, it's a matter of rule. You must write to the police, or the parties in the electoral act. You must write, telling them your even to INEC for about 2 weeks before you hold any rally, and all of that. So they know where they are going. They know where all of this is happening. Perhaps that will to do the needful. But I'm not even as scared as what is happening in the pre-election violence with what some of us are afraid will happen in the post-election.
The problem in Nigeria has not been pre-election. What you see during pre-election is always a child's play to the post-election. Starting from 1960s.
So and we need to even moving forward. I'm sure we have less than 14 days now to the elections. Even those of us in the media, we need to talk about this thing over and over and over. So that people know that if you vote for a particular candidate in your polling unit, the person wins. Know that there are several other polling units in your ward, there are other polling units in your local government, there are other polling units in your state, in your geopolitical zone, and across the country. And all of this must be put together depending on the constituency before somebody is announced. So don't expect that because the person won or you voted for the person must win. These are things people need to get to, need to sink moving forward, so that when the results come out, with the help of beavers, we don't have a crisis on our hands that we're unable to manage.
Okay, Amaechi, please let me ask this question so we're clear. Who is in charge of security in Nigeria? Is it the IG or
the police is the lead
or
civil
the state
agency?
governors?
The police, the Inspector General of Police, is the lead agency.
Yeah.
The others play
in a civilian government.
Yes, especially in an election period.
So in this case of IG, blaming the governors for insecurity in the states.
For us to go and deal with the governors, perhaps
No, because he should.
Yes.
He shouldn't play the play game.
Yes, that's what they do. Play game.
He should get
yes.
into it. It's his
Good
job.
point.
Get it
the
done.
governors that have immunity under Section 308, but those they are using don't have immunity. So if you can't get the governor, you wait for him. When his tenure expires, you pass on him. But for those they are using some, they're not using ghosts. You pass on those people and deal ruthlessly with them, and it will serve as deterrent to others. It has come to a situation where we are joining Sarah to ask the International Criminal Court. Please, in 2015, you sent one rapporteur. Send 10 this time, so that one in each geopolitical zone. We have seen foreign governments threatening to deal with Nigerians over criminal actions they commit in Nigeria. It tells you that they understand full well that the Nigerian security architecture does not have the capacity to rein in those that violate our laws, that threaten democracy and want to destroy democracy. That's why the likes of US, European Union will tell you, will deny you visa. And they have done it. Yes. They have denied some people visa, but we tell them, we plead with them, make their names public so that we name and shame. It doesn't end there. When you deny them visa, share this information with us so that when we see them on the road, we'll say, "Ooh, you denied visa to the US." If that will help us.
Let's see how most of this, Amaechi, has to even do with intelligence, because these election violence are not spontaneous. Most of them are planned from more indications. So if the police or the intelligence agency are on top of the situation, definitely they'll be able to, nip some of this in the bud. Today, the president will be inaugurating some anti-riot equipment for the police at the force headquarters. I hope it's not for the riot control. That's what they're not waiting for when we get to that situation. We need intelligence to be able to even prevent